Hi and welcome to another episode of the Kata Critic, the show where I take a look at your kata and provide the very best constructive criticism or feedback that I'm able to give by looking at your videos. Let's get started. Okay, I have to start with the disclaimer as always. I am not doing this show because I believe that my kata are the best in the world. Actually, I think I've done more bad kata than most of you have done good kata. And from that process, I've learned a lot of mistakes. And through that experience, maybe I can help you. Does that make sense? Okay, and again, it doesn't matter what style you practice or what belt you have. We're all on that path to mastery. And you're always allowed to be both a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time. Anyway, let's stop with the philosophy stuff and let's start looking at your performances. Right, looks like somebody has a home dojo. Bonus points. Oh, they added some text as well. I guess that's pronounced "Hay lugares que inspiran" or something like that. It's funny, I studied Spanish for 6 years in school and I don't know anything. Anyway, let's keep watching. Pretty long pause. Okay, some kind of meditation thing, whatever. Right, so now the kata starts. Sei-san. But if you practice Shotokan, you might know it as Hangetsu, because different kata have different names in different styles. It's pretty powerful, I actually have to say. So what I'm seeing right now is, I think that the movements, the body movements, meaning the stepping feels a little bit slow. It's like you're stepping and then you're moving the arms. But the arms are fast, but the stepping is slow. But let's say you're in a real fight. You wouldn't move slowly and then do something fast with the arms, right? No, you would want to move your whole body fast in one continuous motion. So I think the legs need to match the arms. Keep looking. Again, fast and powerful punches and blocks, but the kick is not as powerful. So in general, I'm getting a sense that lower body development is important for this performance. Both for the stances, but also for the kicking. As you can see, it is not as good as the arms are. But I like the power in the upper body especially. Also, another thing that I'm seeing that might be interesting is that sometimes the hands are opened, as you might see here, moving back. See, the grip is loosened before the next technique starts. And I noticed a little bit of that somewhere in the beginning as well. Before one technique, you could see that the fist or the hand was not perfectly straight or aligned. There was a little bit of loss of focus on this limb as the other limb started moving. And it's important to think about the whole body, the full picture when you're doing your kata, not just the arm or the leg that's doing the movement, so to speak. And a common problem is that you open your hand or loosen your fist as you do movements. And of course, you need to have a relaxed fist, but not too much so it becomes obvious. You want it to be more internal than external. Oh, the Spanish text is different now. Hay lugares que enseñan. Did I nail it? I have no idea what I just said. Might be something terribly inappropriate. Yeah, and again, the lower body development is important for this person because the stances also tend to be a little bit high, because probably they become weaker as the person tries to go deeper into them, because that dynamic and static strength is not really there, along with the mobility, of course. So I would say that to make this performance even better, focus more on the lower body, the stances, the transitions, the steps and the kicking to take it to the next level. Because the powerful moves of the upper body need to be balanced with that stability and dynamic shifting of the lower body. Next kata. Now it looks like we have a Kabuto kata. Kabuto, of course, is the art of using karate's ancient weapons, and in this case it looks like a bow, the staff. Okay, so my first impression here is that there is a lot of arm movement, but there is not a lot of body movement. And you only want your arms to deliver the power, not to generate the power. Meaning, to make this performance even better, I would try to use the legs and the hips and the core even more to spin the staff and generate and deliver more power, not just the arms, because you tend to get really tired in the arms and you can't generate as much power if you're only using them. This is actually a pretty advanced kata. It has a lot of unusual moves and difficult movements, which makes it even more important to use the whole body to generate power in those awkward angles. I would also argue that if we rewind a little bit here to the shifting of the grip, look here comes the shift of the grip from left to right, then I would say that it would be maybe the next level of your kata if you could shift in a more smooth manner. Just have a look at this shift that I did at the World Kabuto Championships final kata when I was in Okinawa recently. Because I'm shifting from right to left in this moment, and it goes in one continuous motion rather than changing the grip with one hand first and the other hand second.
I'd like to bring your attention to ring number 1. Stephanie, can you please raise your hand? Stephanie,
again, those grip shifts when you're moving from left to right, I think it would be smoother if you do both hands at the same time. But then again, it might be a stylistic thing. Different styles have different ways of doing things. Just like in karate, there are many different Kabuto styles. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just providing feedback based on my experience.
All she wanted for Christmas was a pony. This is the best I can do. And I'd like to thank you for coming all the way out.
Overall, it's a solid performance for green belt level. Makes sense. It is a difficult kata, but again, I would suggest using more full body power rather than just the arms, and then focus more on how you shift that grip. Let's move on. Last kata, ISKF Nationals, Christine Cornell. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so what I'm seeing already right now, and this is very tricky because slow movements are not as easy as you might think. It's not just about doing something slowly and then it's over. See, in this case, I believe that the movement stops a little bit too early. So I'm betting that the same will happen in this next move. Let's have a look. Boop, and it's over. I think if you're doing a slow movement like this, for example, in this case, the kata is Goju Shiho, right? You want to do the slow move and keep it going and then fixate everything at the end. Not a brutal, fast kime, right? But this full body contraction to show everybody looking that you actually know what you're doing. We're not just moving our arms and then it's over. In this case, you want to move and then lock it all in at the very end. You actually need to have that same intent as if you're doing a fast, powerful, forceful movement. although it's slow, it doesn't change your spirit, right? Go, go, go. No, look, again, I think it stops a little bit too early, okay? So make sure you extend those slow movements so there is more happening, okay? Now, I have to say, there are always many details that I can point out when it comes to a kata. But what I want to do in this show is to provide a general overview that can help everybody out there, no matter what style you practice, okay? So we're not going to look at every tiny detail, just the ones that give you the most bang for the buck, all right? It's the 80-20 principles. What 20% of your kata will give 80% of the improvement in your kata? It's also known as Pareto's principle, and that's what I love to follow. What is the minimum effective dose of feedback that I can give to provide the maximum value to improve your kata? That's the whole philosophy behind this show. A common mistake when people go into the cat stance is that their center of gravity goes up. When in fact, for example, in this case, when you're in a kibadachi and you're moving to the cat stance, see if you can maintain the same level when it comes to your hips. And an easy way to do this is to imagine that there's a roof or a ceiling and you don't want to smash your head into it, right? Okay, here's another thing, and I see this a lot, because I actually do the same a lot. And that is, when you're doing a technique that is forceful, that has a lot of power, it's very easy to push yourself back instead of pushing into the imaginary target. So it becomes like you have the plus, you have the minus, and you have the zero. So there's no real, there's no real energy transfer happening, because there's just as much energy going back as forward. So no energy is really transferred to the target. Instead, everything remains on the spot. One of the hardest things in this kata is leg strength. I know, because I used to practice this way back, and you get so tired in your legs, especially here at the very end. And that's why the stance tends to get a little bit higher. But still, it's very good.
With the following groups, please report to the staging area.
Cool. Great job. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Kata Critic. Again, if you want me to have a look at your kata, just drop a link to the video in the comment section, and if you're lucky, I might have a look to help you improve your kata and thereby improving all of our kata as we watch your performance and break it down to take it to the next level. Thanks for watching, train hard, good luck, and have fun.